Every one of us can look back over the years of our life and find many great memories. Salvation, lessons learned from childhood, meeting our spouse, troubling times of sickness, moving. What about our first job? And difficult times in which we are only able to look to God for our strength. For me, one of the most memorable experiences was mostly special because of the situations and the struggles that led to this powerful experience. I will share this story with you today, the story of my experience with the Order of the Rising Sun. One of the greatest memories I have is from a camp that I have attended every summer since I was 10 years old. At this Christian camp called Camp Peniel, there is an honor that is bestowed on deserving boy campers. It is called the Order of the Rising Sun. It is awarded to campers who act like Christ in everything they say and do. It is a very high honor and very hard to achieve. Part of the reason for the difficulty is that you must show that you are acting like Christ, but not just once. You must receive 3 nominations over at least 3 different summers to be dubbed into this Order of the Rising Sun. And we begin my story, my second year of camp. I was 11 years old, and I was becoming more comfortable with being a leader within my cabin. I was involved in the Bible studies. I was leading cleanup projects and other such things. And my counselors and the camp directors saw this and determined that I was eligible for the first nomination of the order. I was awarded this first nomination that Saturday. Before that Saturday, I had no idea what the order was. Well, I loved the attention so much that I came back the following year and attempted to get it again. But God taught me that when you try for honor, it will usually escape you. I did not receive my second nomination, and my counselors explained that true servitude is not looking for earthly recognition, but instead working hard to serve the Lord and not man. Moving along to my 4th summer, I went into it desiring to receive the second nomination, but I had learned my lesson. I should not do it for earthly recognition, but instead to glorify God in my actions. So I took every chance that I could to lead and serve, but I always checked myself with asking, why am I doing this? And at the end of that week, I did receive my second nomination. I was now 2/3 of the way of being dubbed. But the problem was, I was now done with boys camp and moving on to the high school programs. And the high school programs don't give the order nominations. When I found this out, I was upset. Here I was. I had worked so hard to get my 2 nominations. I'd sacrificed and learned my lessons on working for the Lord, and now I don't even get a chance to finish. And so for 3 more summers, I was bitter about it. I thought that it wasn't fair that I would be stuck with only 2 nominations. But then the summer after my senior year, I volunteered to be on work crew and do the disgusting jobs that no one wants to do. Then one day, my work crew director came up to me and inquired as to my feelings on the order and my nominations. And so I told him honestly about my bitterness. And so he worked with me to help me see that I need to have the mind of Christ, as it talks about in Philippians 2, 1-18. And by the end of that week, I'd come to realize that I can be content in my 2 nominations because God doesn't care about the order. He cares about my attitude. It's amazing how God works, because He taught me that lesson about humility, service, and having a Christ-like attitude. Then once I had been reminded of that and begun to accept and apply that, God surprised me. On Saturday, at the end of my volunteer work week, I was presented with my 3rd nomination. With tears in my eyes, I asked my director how I had received it. He said that boy campers and volunteers are the only ones who receive the nominations. So God worked in my heart to be content, and then He blessed me with what I desire. Psalm 37:4 says, "Delight yourself in the Lord, and He will give you the desires of your heart.